As what it is your girl Kadlac. Yes, I'm Kadlac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life Prison Wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping to see justice before all fades to black. Yeah, it's your girl Kadlac. Anyways, I am coming through on today is January the 13th. Yes, I got one more day to dispute my TikTok. I don't know. The minute somebody told me it's best, several people have told me this. So when one, two, three people or more tell you, usually that's something you should do. Y'all know that I be on YouTube trying to break the story of my husband being wrongfully convicted and excessively sentenced in the state of Florida with no evidence, no DNA, no fingerprints. Nobody was powed, like pow. Nobody was hurt. Nobody was injured in any way. Everybody left this instance the same way except for Marcello, who left with the rest of his life taking. So nothing done. It was an attempted alleged robbery of $60. And the reason I say that, y'all know, is because they claim Marcello had taken $80 from them. And then when Marcello was searched and arrested by the police, he only had 60 on him. And the police gave back the affidavits and told them to cross that out and write in 60 so that it can align that Marcello was the one that took the alleged money from them that they claimed that they didn't have in their wallets. They had just borrowed that from their friend, the bartender. None of that makes sense. If it don't make sense, it ain't it, girl. And I can tell you the ins and outs of that. And I am going to start going through the transcript with you guys, just to actually show you where all this is coming from, rather than telling you how it happened. But that be my purpose of being on. That is my purpose. I'm sorry of that bad grammar, but that is my purpose. And purpose statement is it's your girl Kadlac. I am the legally blind artist because I have keratoconus. I'm losing my eyesight. That is rapping and painting. I'm a former female rapper. I was rapping to try to break the story of my husband being wrongfully convicted. I thought I could do it by getting one song on the radio, on the local radio, and get people talking and get people interested in the story, and then finally getting to tell the full story. And then he being free. It never happened like that, but I pursued a whole rap career until I found out that the rap industry has its own agenda, and what I was trying to do does not align with that. So, and painting, because I am a great artist of all sorts. I can paint anything just about that I see. I can draw anything that I see. I was a child phenomena. Like, I literally started drawing at age 9. And I did so by just picking up a freaking pencil and like, hey, I can draw. And I just got better and better and better and better and better at it over all these years. Okay, so I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice. So all of this that I do it in the name of justice. It started with my husband, but my husband is in no way the only person that this situation has happened to. So justice for him is going to open the floodgates for justice for many other people. And on my route of trying to get my husband back in court, I actually got somebody else back in court by information I found and sent to my husband. It was supposed to be utilized by him, but he gave it to the next person, and they got him back in court. So if I didn't free Marcello, I probably freed somebody else. Isn't that crazy and ironic? But rapping for justice, and I'm hoping, so when I do that, it's because our justice system is really not set up the way it's set up correctly, but they do not follow the rules. They do not follow the way it should go. They do too much incorrectly for you to have something turn out correctly. It's just like in science and also in math. If you have a problem, you know how X plus this, you can't take out several of those variables And you know how they put in the answer, but they want you to find the answer with the missing parts. Okay, if you take out too many of those missing parts, you can't arrive to that answer, which an answer being the verdict, and verdict meaning truth. There's only one truth. But if you take out variables that could lead to that truth, you're going to get a different truth, a different answer, a different verdict. And that's what they do. They play with the case so much. They tamper with it so much that most times you're not going to get a true verdict. Okay. So I have to hope, because I'm fighting for my husband in a system that is not fair or just. So we have a shot in hell of him getting justice. How do you get justice out of a place that doesn't have justice? Is there no justice in the land? I doubt it is. And not, especially not for Black people, because they put us to the lowest of the totem pole, when it comes to the justice system. And then I say hoping to see justice before it all fades to black. And that is because I am disabled in multiple ways. And soon I will not be able to fight like this. Number one, I'm losing my eyesight. Once I do go fully blind, I am legally blind. But once I do go fully blind, how will I be able to continue? I mean, knowing my cousin who is fully blind, that has given me hope that, okay, it doesn't end and it fading to black. It doesn't end there. You just have to do life different, which has been a big eye-opening experience for me. My cousin went fully blind over like that. Like, I'm losing my sight over time. But he just completely went from sighted to within a couple years unsighted. And we also did a channel together a lot last year. He's the blind chef, and he cooks. He does everything blind, and it gives you hope that, okay, it doesn't end with fading to black. But for me, I don't know how it's going to end once I do lose my eyesight. I don't know how I'm going to be this graphic designer making these graphics about Free Marcello, or drawing. How am I going to draw when I'm fully blind? Like, I've drawn legally blind where I could barely see the canvas, barely see the paper in front of me. But I was, that part reminds me of that girl that said, P.O.P., hold it down. Not to laugh because she has passed away, but that part went viral because it was kind of funny. And she was like, I could drive a Burley. Like, girl, it has been some moments. Before I got my little magical contact that I can see through, I attempted to drive back then. So you could have drove, girl. I don't know. I can't say, because I done seen some legally blind people driving. She says, I could see but Burley. But I don't know how my fight for him is going to occur. And that is why I also want to hurry up and be this artist, because I don't know how much longer I have with my eyesight. And then also I have severe carpal tunnel, which makes it hard to grip the pencils, the paints, or do anything at all. So I don't know how much time with this carpal tunnel and arthritis I'm going to continue to be able to create this art. So that's why it says until it all fades to black. Yes, it's your girl Kadlac. So that just explains my little opening. But anyways, today, the whole purpose of this video was, because now we 8 minutes in, so I guess this is a 2-part video. This video, the purpose was to tell y'all know last year, if y'all been rolling with your girl, you could go back and look if you haven't been rolling with your girl. I did a segment called Everybody Hates Kadlac. Because I feel so connected to that character. Chris from Everybody Hates Chris. Oh my goodness. Like, that is me all day long. A person that tries to do the right thing, tries to be the best version of themselves that they can, and they always seem to run into trouble. And it's so much that is so freaking ironic. It gets to the point where it's just funny. You're like, this is just too coincidental for this ish to be happening. So I don't know. I always had like bad luck. Almost like if I didn't have bad luck, baby, I ain't got no luck at all. And in a certain situation, you start just expecting the worst to happen, because the worst usually always does happen. And most people think you're just being negative. And I'm like, no, I'm not really being negative. I'm just reporting what happened. So it gets comical sometimes. So I started saying I'm going to do a segment called Everybody Hates Kadlac, where I got two, I think I have two of those videos, which I'll link in the description box, where a man trapped me in his freaking driveway and would not let me leave. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And I'm finna be late again. This man traps me in drives his big old pickup truck. I turn in to make a turnaround in the neighborhood. And as soon as I go into a driveway just to pull in a little bit to pull out, he drives his big truck behind me and will not allow me to leave. Girl, check that story out to see how that ended. That was crazy. And I'm like, why is this happening to me? Like, out of everybody, this crazy-ish. I'm telling you, in my life, some of the best, magnificent things have happened, and some of the worst things that don't happen to nobody has happened to me. So I got that, and then I got this other story about this crazy big old huge spider bug or whatever that thing was crawling up my shirt. That was crazy, but people seem to have enjoyed those. So, but I hadn't finished it since. But girl, I got a Everybody Hates Kadlac story from yesterday. It was too much going on. First, it started out, I know 2 days ago, I told y'all I had a nightmare, which I never have. I don't even dream. So a nightmare is really going to scare me, because I'm like, I don't even dream. So why am I having a bad dream? You know, when I do dream. And when I do dream, when it's good things, it actually is usually like almost like prophetic. It's telling me what is going to happen or what is happening in my life. And it's crazy. Like, I literally found out who stole my identity through a dream. And that's basically, I attribute back to God telling me who stole my identity. That's crazy. Before I literally found out, I seen it in a dream. Okay, so I started out with a nightmare. So that was, so I had to turn the lights on, girl. I slept with the lights on, prayed myself back to sleep. Okay, so I wakes back up. I haven't had a dream since, because I don't dream. I'm literally, I keep myself all day till I'm tired, pressing forward in this situation, trying to be that artist, trying to get my husband home. So, girl, like, I ain't got time to dream. Like, for real. I run myself till I'm tired, and then I get back up tired. So it started like that. I get ready. You know, I'm caregiver to my sister, so she gets ready. I barely had time to get to work that day. Like, sometimes it's hard when I stay up so late to get up early, but I know that I cannot just leave that house without making sure my sister is together and ready, because, you know, that's that's what I've taken on, you know. And plus, my mother that passed, that was one of her biggest worries, was nobody would be able to care for my sister the way she did when she was alive. And I promised that to my mother, that I would always take care of her. You don't have to worry about that. As long as I'm alive, I'm going to take care of her. So before I can leave the house, she has to get ready. And then I also have to get ready and stuff like that. So I get out the house. I barely am making it. I'm usually running out the house and running back in several times. Oops, I forgot my name badge. I thought it was in the car, where I freaking thought I would leave it, so that I don't go through this every day. It's not there, so I got to run back in. Oh, I need my name tag. I don't have a name tag in there. Study trip. Oh, freak, I ain't got my apron. Girl, it'd be too much. And I know the logical thing is, Keto, why don't you get these things done at night? But at night, I'm up there burning the midnight oil. Can't wait to get off of work to get home and work on my passions, my art. So it's like, it's a two-edged sword. I don't know, because all my free time is devoted to other things. It's fighting for this impossible justice to achieve. And it's also fighting to almost impossibly build this career so I can get off this workshop. Like, I'm putting all my extra time into that, which means I don't have that extra time into what the normal adult is doing, preparing themselves for work the day before. Right. So I do end up getting out and getting to work. Okay. So On the way to work, I'm preparing myself as I'm driving. I have to eat my food and drive my breakfast. I'm usually putting it in like some type of bowl, like a hole, and eat while I'm freaking driving to work. Yes. And y'all probably say, well, how if you legally blind are you driving? I have to go to a doctor every so often. They do actually suspend my license just so the doctor can write off how you have to have so much depth of field to be able to hold a driver's license. So in my one eye with the contact, I have that depth of field. So I'm able to drive. He still deems me able to drive. This eye doesn't see anything out of it, but you have to have at least one eye with that depth of field. Now, without the contact, my license is void. I cannot drive. So that means when I break my contact, when I lose my contact, I go from able to unable, right? But also with the contact, it doesn't fully fix my vision. So it's a 20/20 type thing. 20 up in the air type thing. So I am able to see to drive. So I'm driving, and as I'm driving, I'm usually eating my food, listening to Joel Osteen, trying to get into a decent headspace. I'm usually irritated because it's another day that I'm wasting away at work at this job when I could be on my own career, but it's just been like heck trying to get out of the job so that I could step into my own thing. It's not easy. People think you just go to school and then you get out successful. There's so many steps in between school and actual success, or wanting a business and the business actually creating enough money to where you don't have to work. Like there's so many steps in between that it just doesn't happen like that. So it usually boils down to doing what you have to do to survive, which is work, which takes your whole life. So it's a double-edged sword. It's like you never win. It's an endless cycle. So I pull up, I'm almost to my job. Y'all know I work at a theme park. So I'm about to turn off of the street into the area where our parking garage is. I'm in the turn and I kind of just look down for a second to reach in my pocket to get my name badge out because that's going to tap me into the garage. This fast, this is how I look. And as I pick my eyes up that quickly, I realize I'm turning in on the wrong side of the road. I turned too short. So I'm in the wrong side of the lane. I had to thank God. God watches over children and fools. I ain't saying I'm a fool, but God dog it. Sometimes I don't even have the time to think every move through because it's just too much happening at once in my life. So nobody was there. That was their turning lane on the opposite side of the road. So I was able to back out of the turning lane and finish my curve. So I basically turned in front of the median. So this is the median. I turned on the front side of it rather than turning on that side of it, which would have been the turn in that I need to turn. I'm like, oh God, thank you so much watching over me, keeping his angels over me. So I get into work, right? I go through work. I'm there. I'm irritated because I'm at work again and I feel like I'm wasting my life here. I'm already 41. How many more years do I have to be this artist if it doesn't happen tomorrow? Like for real. So I get out of that mood once I get into the work day or whatever. The work day passes. Now, this is the crazy part. So I told y'all about the manager. She always asks everybody, do they want to go home early? And then I'd be the one just stuck there. And then sometimes I don't even get my lunch because then, oops, we've sent everybody home early. So that's that Everybody Hates Chris type thing, right? So this day, they ask me, and I'm surprised because they never asked me to go home early. I should have known it. Something was up. Something was amiss. So I said, yes, I want to go home early because my aunt had already said she cooked dinner for us, so I can come over after. But there was no way for me to go get the kids because my aunt is over by the theme park, close to the theme park area. So for me to get the kids, I would have to go all the way back to our side of town, pick them up, then go back that way. So I'm like, yes, if I can get off early, I can do all these things and then still make it to the dinner that she, prepared for us. So I'm like, yeah, I want to go home early. So I get my food, I go home because they provide us with lunch. I eat my lunch and then I go home, right? So I'm like, shoot, I got a chiropractor appointment. Now the chiropractor is close to the job. So I'm like, dang, there's no way that I can go get the kids, go to the chiropractor and then still make it. Basically go to the kids. Go get the kids, go to her place to eat, which she wasn't even finished yet, and then come back and make it to the chiropractor. That's too much back and forth. So the logical thing is, to call. Hey, I'm getting off work early. Do you think I could stop by early to have my appointment? Because I wanted to cancel my appointment. For two reasons. I really can't afford it. Y'all know it's the thing that keeps me going. I do have 3 herniated discs in my neck. I have about this much cartilage, slithers of cartilage. I have TMJ. I have pinched nerves in my neck. And it makes it really difficult to continue working, and even with living and stuff like that, it makes it much more challenging. I'm also have sciatica and all of these other issues that stem off of this, the carpal tunnel and all of that. From a slip and fall at the super center that tried to fire me. This is some Everybody Hates Chris type stuff. Tried to fire me after I slipped and fell in their store on my day off. Just like Craig, how you get fired on your day off? Well, girl, this is how I got fired, basically, on my day off. Because I done slipped and fell in a whole nother store before I was finna go see Ice Cube. Girl, like, I didn't even get to see. I saw Ice Cubes, but they was in a hospital. It wasn't the Ice Cube, the one that say, just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I don't know, but today seems kind of odd. There's no barking from the dog. There's no small. My mama cooking breakfast with no hog. Yes, it wasn't that Ice Cube. It was ice cubes up on my neck, girl. But that's some Everybody Hates Chris type stuff, right? So I go to the chiropractor and he's like, yeah, sure, I can work you in there. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I'll stop by. I can go to the chiropractor. Then we could, continue our day. Girl, I get to the chiropractor and he's sitting there. He talking about some skiing or water skiing. I don't even know what he's talking about. But he only had one client there, so he's moving slowly with the client. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I guess I'll be after him. Meanwhile, 2 more clients come in and he starts taking them. And I'm like, okay, so possibly I'll be after them. Another client comes in. And this thing, what makes it so, I go to something called advanced chiropractic care. I've tried everything in life to feel better, and it makes me feel no better. Like I have so much pain, like pain on top of pain almost every single day. And sometimes it's the pain that I just have to ignore it and keep going. Is it pain that stops me completely, or is it pain that I just have to ignore it and try to keep it moving? So basically, I was going to cancel all of them because I can't afford it, because they do this scan, this thermal scan, and that is not covered under my insurance. I have to pay out of pocket. It's $90 every time I visit. So I'm like, I don't have any money, so I can't really afford to keep these visits, but these visits keep me going. So it's that catch-22 type-ish. So I really was going to cancel that appointment, but I was like, I guess I have to go because he had already debited the money out of my account. I thought the appointment was the next week, but it was actually this week. So he had already got me for my money. So he's seeing all those people, and then the receptionist comes in. Now they're very nice people, and usually so very nice, like for real, all the time. So the nurse comes, not the nurse, but the receptionist comes in, and she's like, "Have you been scanned yet?" And I'm like, "No." So she continues to take like one or two more people, scan them, and prepare them to go be adjusted. And I'm like, "Oh, I thought maybe you didn't hear me." I said, "No, I haven't been scanned yet." And she's like, "Oh yeah, that's because you're here early and your appointment was at 6:30. Meanwhile, it's almost 5 o'clock. I called him at like 3:20. It took me I called him at like 3:40. It took me about 20 minutes to get to his office. And then by the time I got there and got up there, it was like 4:15ish. So now we're knocking down 5 o'clock. It's a little after 5. And she's like, "No, your appointment's not till 6:30. And I'm like, "So you thought I was going to see you an hour and a half?" And I was like, "Oh no, he said that he would fit me in, that I would be after the next client." And she was like, "No, you can't go after the next client because we have appointments, and that was the purpose of having appointments." And I'm like, "But I called ahead and asked him, and I already been waiting here for a whole hour." And she's like, "Oh well, I don't know. It's up to the person if they're gonna let you go in front of them." And I'm like, "Well, had he told me that, I would have went my butt on and made different arrangements." He said he can squeeze me in, and he also said he would see me next right before she walked in. So I'm like, you know what? At this point, can we just cancel and reschedule? Like, you can't get your money back, but I'm just going to have to reschedule. "Oh, well, I don't have anything till next Tuesday." So I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever." Because at this point, I'm not going to wait another hour and a half for my appointment slot. Like, I left work early to sit up at the chiropractor office. No. So then finally the lady's like, "Go ahead, as long as it's going to be fast, she can go in front of me." So that's where God is stepping in. But I'm like, what was the purpose of me leaving work? I thought that I was going to hurry up and get to what I wanted to do, which it didn't. It always throws a monkey wrench. And for some reason with the chiropractor, every time I expect to be longer and I prepare, he got me in and out. Anytime I want to, "Oh God, please let this hurry fast and get out so I could go do this," it takes forever. So finally, I'm like, okay, so I just have to always assume that you can't squeeze me in. I won't do this no more. I won't ask to come by early. If I get off early, we'll just assume that I have to come back this way to go to the appointment. So that happened. Then as I'm driving home, crazy. As I'm driving home, I get behind some truck that's pulling something. It's like a pickup truck, but it has this little back thing. It looked like somebody was moving or whatever. So I'm like, "Oh, let me get from behind this truck," because I don't like driving by trucks. You know, my mother was in a bad car accident with the truck that messed her neck up. I think I messed her neck up. I'm so sorry. Rest in peace, Mama. I think I'm the one messed up your neck, girl. Because as the truck started to back over my mother's car, I was grabbing up on her from the back seat. I was grabbing up on her because I was scared. Oh, this is Marcello, so I ain't going to be able to finish right now. But all in all, what ended up happening was plates started falling off the back of this truck.
Press 0 to refuse this call. Please note that your account...
I forgot I ain't got no money on the phone. I ain't got no money on the phone. I be out here just looking all... He gonna call back. I forgot to put the money on the phone. Gosh, I told him I would have it on by the morning. It be too much happening. Anyway, so plates start falling off the back of this truck, rolling down the street and boop, breaking right in front of my car as pieces break off my car and roll up my windshield. I'm like, I tried to get over, but as soon as I got ready to get over from behind this truck, the car started blocking me in on the side. I'm like, girl, everybody hates Kadlac. Anyways, it's your girl Kadlac. Let me go and put that money on that phone before he call again.